Welcome to the Mommy Zen Podcast with Marianne Clyde.
Welcome to the Mommy Zen Podcast. I'm Marianne Clyde, and today our affirmation is, even though chaos swirls around me, I'm as still as the eye of the storm. I have an awesome guest today. Her name is Jody Jelas. She's the founder of the Boom Formula, and you're going to need to look that up online. Our topic is keeping kids a priority while making 5 figures a day. Welcome, Jody.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is such a great topic for you because as I've gotten to know you, I can just tell how really busy you are all the time. And you've got 2 kids, I think, right? They're 3 and 5, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you're making 5-figure days. So this is a way that you can be an effective mom, you can keep your kids at home, you can be impactful in the community and in the world, because I know you have clients all over the world. And tell us about the Boom Formula. What is that?
Okay, so the Boom Formula is, I had a web design company for 14 years, and the thing that I was always best at was strategy and kind of working at it more of a top level than the fine detail. So for me, when I created the Boom Formula, it was about helping people who had some knowledge to share and they could teach people, and taking them to a different format. So teaching it online via video and leveraging their business, so their business became more of a lifestyle business. Mm-hmm. So they're leveraging what they do, getting back more time. So in the Boom Formula, we take their knowledge, help them build a brand, package it, get a big following, and then monetize from that. And then they've got their freedom of their lifestyle to do whatever they need to do, which is perfect for us parents as well. So although it was because I loved doing it, it was also out of necessity as well.
It gives you the flexibility to be a mom.
Exactly. And I think I can't remember if I've told you this story before, but when I had my daughter, it was a surprise, shall we say. And at the time, I was working really hard in my business and I wasn't leveraging it. Mm-hmm. And when I was pregnant with her, I was thinking, right, I've got to find some way to do this, because we couldn't really go down to one income at the time. And so the first month of her life, I was rocking the rocker with my foot, trying to get her to sleep, while I was building websites with the mouse in my right hand, and I had the breast pump on my printer, trying to express for the next feed at the same time. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, this is no way to live, and I had to
find a better way, right?
So that was a wake-up call and a big turning point.
And she is the 5-year-old now, is that correct?
She's 5 now, yeah.
And her brother's 3.
Yep.
Now, you posted something on Facebook today that was a piece of paper laying around your house showing how obviously your kids are part of your life.
Yeah, right here. My
Boom. There you go.
5-year-old, she writes Boom everywhere. She writes Boom Formula. She writes Jody Jelas. She loves writing on whiteboards. She says she wants to be a teacher, so she puts jodyjelas.com, Boom Formula all over the whiteboards. I find it on scraps of paper everywhere, and she often uses my phone, and I'll find videos of her videoing herself saying jodyjelas.com and Boom Formula.
So they really feel like a part of your life.
Yeah, they do. They love it.
Juggling all these things.
Trying to include them. In fact, it's anything. You know, it's like supermarket shopping. You take the kids to the supermarket, and especially Joey, because I call him Forrest Gump because he just runs. He does not do walking. Take him to a supermarket, and all he sees is a big aisle to run in.
Right.
The only way to get him to not run away is to include him in what you're doing. You know, it's really important that you help me choose which vegetables we're having this week. Well, so it's the same with all of it.
That's so important. You're teaching your kids to know that they're important and to know their true identity and to really experience life with you. So tell me, I know you're familiar with the 10 principles from my book, Peaceful Parenting, 10 Essential Principles. Which ones do you feel that really help you? And you said you use these all in various parts of your lives.
Yes.
What helps you keep your kids as a part of, feeling very significant in your life?
There was actually, you just mentioned it, there's probably 3 that really stood out to me, but the one that stood out to me the most was you talked about the true identity. And when I first read that title and read through the chapter, my first impression of true identity was something that's super important to me is, and non-judgment as well was another one. It's they kind of went hand in hand for me, because I remember growing up, my parents were really young when they had us, and I remember the way they parented compared to if they did it all over again. They did a wonderful job, and, you know, we had a great upbringing. But I look at just New Zealand, and that kind of era was a very tall poppy syndrome, and it was all about, you know, speak when you've been spoken to, and I was always kind of a theatrical stage, wanting to be on a stage kind of kid, and it was always kind of like, you'll get a big head, you know, play it down kind of thing. So when I started reading the True Identity chapter, it got me thinking, and this is with my blog post, what I teach my clients is all about how important it is to be yourself. So with my kids, Millie is super smart. She calls my bluff and plays my things back on me sometimes, and I think, damn, she's well played. She got me.
Right.
And then Joey's just so full on all the time. And to me, when I read True Identity, I was thinking, everybody is so unique in their personalities. And Millie's like I was. She's, you know, she wants to be on the stage, closes her bedroom door and just dances all day.
Aww.
Joey just runs and plays with cars. And I think it's so important to get a feel for what their personality type is, that, you know, they're kind of born with the basis of their personality, and then all the different events happen that kind of shape them a little bit.
Right.
But just know what their strengths are and what their personalities are, and not push them down and try and hide them away, but actually embrace them and go, okay, well, Joey's that kind of kid, so, you know, make sure you take him to wide open spaces, and if he gets frustrated being in one place, don't get mad at him for it, because that's just it's in his blood that he needs to be in big wide open spaces.
Yeah, well, I love the way, as I've interacted with you, and I know that your kids are around sometimes, that you never go, you know, shut up, go off into the other room, leave me alone, I'm working right now, I'm busy right now. You always take the time to, sure, you keep them in control, you know, and you give them things to do and so forth, but you always make them know that they're your priority. Just by, you talk to them like they're real people. So many parents shoo their kids off into the side and just say, leave me alone, I'm working now. But it sounds like, you know, you're doing that is really making them embrace your business and love your business and start writing it all, hopefully not all over your walls.
Yeah, I know. Although you gave me that tip, now I know how to get it off.
That's right, that's right.
It's where that came from, actually, is because I try not to have the kids around, because what I learned very quickly, and one of the things you'd asked me was about how do I keep the balance.
Yep.
I run my whole life in 30-minute increments. Their birthday party, their joint birthday party,
yeah,
people thought I was crazy because I had it in 30-minute increments. I had it catered and everything. Caterer arrives at this time, put this on the table, going to have to take an extra 30 minutes. Everything's in 30-minute increments. And what I found really early on, especially when Millie was young, was if I thought, you know what, she's quite happy playing there by herself while I work,
yep,
it did not take long for me to realize that they know that you're working. They know that you're sitting in front of your computer and not talking to them.
right.
And although I'm a solo mum now and it's just me and the kids, that means at night I have the flexibility to work then. When they're at school, I can work then. But at 3 o'clock when I pick them up, it has to be about the kids. And when I wasn't on my own, I would go back to work at 3 o'clock because Daddy might have been around.
Mm-hmm.
But they still knew I was there working. They still knew Mummy was doing something else. So I made a point of at 3 o'clock when I pick them up, between then and their bedtime, that 4 hours is all about them.
Yeah.
And it means that, I mean, even now, 3 nights a week, they're with their dad. So all I've got to do, I just have to structure my 30-minute increments around that. And I've got a friend who she works really long hours, and we just have this 80-20 rule where people are like, you're not with your kids all day, you shouldn't be working, you should be at home with your kids. And a lot of people do have that belief, and that's fine. But I think I'm a better mum for what I do, because if I was doing it all day, every day,
yep,
I would probably dilute the quality of my parenting, if that makes sense.
Well, it does. You've got your priorities all in a row, and I think that's awesome. And as a matter of fact, I really want to spend a whole podcast talking with you about being a single mom and about how you make that work, because I think that's so important, and I think you've got some great pointers that I'd like you to share with some of our viewers in the next podcast. So
Absolutely.
How about if we close this one out and renew our affirmation for today, and then we'll come back and we'll do a whole new podcast on how to be a single mom and make 5 figures a day.
A whole new game.
Okay, so Jody, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for joining me, because you have such an abundance of wisdom, and to watch somebody so successful who can still keep her priorities right and still let her kids know that they're important. I really value that, and I really admire you for doing that. So thanks for being with me.
Thank you so much.
And for you, I'd like to remind you of our affirmation for today, that Jody does this very well, that even though the chaos swirls all around me, I am as still as the eye of the storm. This is Marianne Clyde signing off for this time. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Mommy Zen podcast. For nuggets of encouragement and strength throughout your day, follow Marianne on Twitter at mommy_zen and Facebook at facebook.com/mommyjustbreathe. Also, you can join our mailing list, leave comments, or ask questions by visiting mommy-zen.com.